Welcome to the Taste China Learn English Deep Dive. I'm so glad you're joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. We have a really fun topic today.
We really do. So if you want to understand how a massive city like Beijing or Shanghai wakes up and, gets to work every morning, you shouldn't just look at the subway system.
Right.
You actually need to look at the sidewalks, specifically a tiny little street cart at around 7:30 in the morning.
Because those carts are feeding a huge line of people, and they're doing it so fast.
Exactly. We usually think of city infrastructure as like steel and concrete. But in these fast-moving cities, some of the most important infrastructure is actually food.
I love that idea, that the food you grab on your way to work is just as important as the train you ride.
It really is. So today our mission is to look really closely at this amazing street food called the Jianbing.
Also known in English as the Chinese grape.
Right. And there's this very common saying in our sources that almost every international student or visitor who comes to China falls completely in love with this dish.
Oh yeah, like within their very first week.
Definitely. I know I did. So we are going to talk about what goes into a jianbing, how it's made, and why it is the absolute perfect food for a busy morning commute.
Because it's not just a tasty breakfast, it's actually a marvel of culinary engineering.
A marvel of engineering. I like that. So let's set the scene for our listeners. Let's talk about the culinary performance, because watching it get made is half the fun.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a show.
So you have a street vendor, and they have this very small cart. But on that cart is a huge, flat, round hot plate.
A cast iron hot plate, and it is extremely hot.
Right. So the vendor takes a scoop of this very thin batter made from grain flour and pours it right in the middle of the hot metal.
And then they use this really specific tool. It's a wooden stick shaped like a T.
Yeah, the T-shaped spreader. And they sweep it around in a fast circle, spreading the batter into this perfect paper-thin pancake.
It's so smooth.
Honestly, it looks like a DJ spinning a record, just this continuous, smooth circle.
That's a great comparison. But mechanically speaking, the vendor is actually in a race against time.
Wait, really? A race against time?
Yeah, because that metal plate is so hot, the second the wet batter hits it, the water starts to cook off. So the vendor only has maybe 4 or 5 seconds to spread it out.
Wow. Just a few seconds before it gets stuck in that shape.
Exactly. If they're too slow, the crepe won't be even.
Okay, so they spread it out, and then they immediately crack an egg right on top of it.
On top of the cooking crate. And they use that same wooden tool to break the yolk and spread the egg all over the surface.
It turns this beautiful bright yellow color. And then comes my favorite part.
The fresh ingredients.
Yes. They sprinkle on lots of chopped green onions and fresh cilantro.
Right into the wet egg.
Exactly. So it all cooks together. Now, here is the crazy part. The source points out that this whole process, from pouring the batter to handing the food to the customer, takes less than 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. Every single time.
Which makes me wonder. Our source specifically highlights the word vendor here. Why is it so important that this is made on a small street cart in 2 minutes rather than, sitting down in a restaurant?
Well, it comes down to city life and efficiency. These vendors are feeding people who are rushing to work.
Right. Commuters.
Exactly. So that 2-minute cooking time is an economic necessity.
Meaning they have to be that fast to make money.
Yes. The cart is tiny, but the number of people walking by is massive. If it took 5 minutes to make one jianbing, the line would be too long.
People would just leave because they don't want to miss their bus.
Right. So the cart becomes this highly efficient urban feeding station. Everything about it is designed for speed.
That makes a lot of sense. So the speed gets the food into your hands quickly. But let's be honest, people don't fall in love with just speed.
No, they definitely fall in love with the taste.
Exactly. And as we look at the ingredients, a soft, warm crepe with an egg is nice, but it's not legendary. There's a secret hidden inside.
The secret structural surprise.
Yes. So right in the middle of this soft crepe, the vendor put something called the baoquei.
which translates to crispy cracker in English.
Right. It's this rectangular piece of deep-fried dough. And before they fold the crepe around it, they brush on these amazing sauces.
A sweet bean sauce, which is rich and dark.
And a really vibrant, spicy chili paste. So it's savory and spicy. You can also add things like sausage or bacon, but the classic version is just the cracker and the sauces.
And when you put all that together, you get what the source calls a texture explosion.
A texture explosion. I love that phrase. It's like a plot twist in a movie. You take a bite, you feel this soft pancake, and then bam.
You hit that loud, crunchy cracker.
Yes. But I have a question about this. The text calls this crispy cracker the soul of the Jianbing.
The soul of the dish, yes.
But is it really the soul? Or is putting a giant deep-fried cracker inside a pancake just a cheap way to add lots of calories to a morning meal?
Well, it definitely is a good way to get energy for the day, but calling it just cheap calories ignores how we actually experience food.
What do you mean?
So there's a culinary concept about texture contrast. If you eat something that is entirely soft, your brain actually gets bored.
Wait, your brain gets bored of the flavor?
Yeah, even if the flavor is amazing. After 3 or 4 bites of just soft food, you stop enjoying it as much.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
Right. So to keep your brain interested, you need a disruption. You need a totally different feeling in your mouth.
So that's what the bokui does.
Exactly. That loud crunch actually wakes up your senses. It resets your mouth, basically, so the next bite tastes just as good as the first.
That is so interesting. So the mouthfeel, the texture, is just as important as the sweet and spicy flavors.
It really is. Without the crunch, it's just a soft wrap. With the crunch, it's an experience.
Okay, so we've built the perfect package. It has great flavor. It has that amazing crunchy texture. Now let's talk about why it's so popular with millions of people in megacities.
The 3 main reasons.
Right. The source points out 3 very specific words to describe the Jianbing. It is convenient, it is customizable, and it is affordable.
Those are key traits for street food.
Let's start with convenient. This whole meal is designed to be held in one hand. It's folded up, put in a little paper bag, and you can literally eat it while walking to the subway.
You don't need a plate, you don't need a fork.
Exactly. And then it's highly customizable. It kind of reminds me of a modern smartphone.
A smartphone? How so?
Well, it fits in your hand.
Yeah.
And you can tweak all the settings to be exactly what you want.
Oh, I see.
Like you can stand there and tell the vendor, no cilantro, or make it extra spicy.
Or you can ask for 2 eggs if you want to make it feel like a luxury breakfast.
Right. You build your own perfect version. And finally, it's affordable. It costs very little money, but it gives you a lot of energy.
Which means everyone can buy it. Students, office workers, tourists.
Yeah. But it makes me wonder, for the millions of people eating this, is the main appeal actually the taste? Or is it just the utility?
The utility. You mean just because it's useful?
Yeah, is it just because you can eat a hot custom meal with one hand while you run to the bus? Isn't that why people love it so much?
I think it's the fact that you don't have to choose.
What do you mean?
Well, usually in life, if something is fast and cheap, it's not very good quality, right?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
But the Jianbing breaks that rule. It doesn't force you to choose between quality, price, and speed. You get all 3.
Ah, I see.
And because of that, it creates this amazing democratization of urban food.
Democratization. So it brings everyone together.
Exactly. The affordability and the fact that you can customize it makes it the great equalizer of the city.
Oh, totally. If you stand in line at a Jianbing cart, you will see a businessman in a fancy suit waiting right behind a college student.
And they're both waiting for the exact same 2-minute breakfast.
They both want that perfect crunch to start their day. It really is the perfect morning fuel for every single demographic across the city.
It really is.
So, to summarize our journey today for our Taste China Learn English listeners, the next time you grab a quick breakfast, whatever it is, think about the engineering behind it.
Think about the texture contrasts.
Yeah. And the urban efficiency. Think about the incredible speed and design that goes into your own morning fuel. Food is never just food. It's a reflection of the city itself.
Beautifully said. But, thinking about all this commuter culture does leave me with a final kind of provocative thought.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the Jianbing evolved perfectly to serve this fast-paced, walking to the subway morning rush, right? Places like Beijing and Shanghai.
Right, millions of people walking past these carts.
But our modern world is shifting. More and more people are doing remote work. They're setting up digital home offices.
Oh, wow. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. What is going to happen to this vibrant street corner ecosystem? What happens to the 2-minute vendor when the traditional morning commute begins to disappear?
If people aren't walking to the subway, they aren't walking past the carts.
That is a
Fascinating question.
It's definitely something to think about.
It really is. Well, something to chew on literally the next time you get to enjoy that amazing deep fried crunch. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.